North Corktown. As Ford renovates the old Michigan train station across the freeway, Metro Detroit nonprofit developer Oakland Housing lays out its plans for a project 10 years in the making.
Thank you for joining us to celebrate the new homes that are going up right behind me here on Pine Street.
These will be the North Pine Street townhomes, built for middle-income wage earners, 14 units, averaging 1,500 square feet. Middle income means those making between 80 and 120% of the area's median income. That's a family of four earning $61,000 to $91,000 a year. The target market? Those sometimes called the missing middle.
Middle-income families are the sort of the forgotten middle of home buyers.
The people who are in the 80 to 120% AMI band represent the backbone of our working society. They can be carpenters, dental hygienists, physical therapists, people who work in the city government here with me.
They're probably paying too much in rent, but they make too much to get subsidies for low-income rental. They may not, though, make enough to save for a down payment on a market rate home.
You know, they're people who are holding down good jobs, but just don't make tons of money.
Wayne State urban planning professor Carolyn Lowe defines the missing middle not so much as people and how much they make, but what kind of housing they need, especially in Detroit.
It's middle density, so it fits into a single family neighborhood. It's not a big development and it's not a single family house. And then the other part of the middle is that it's middle size. So it's not a big house, it's not a tiny apartment, it's kind of a medium-sized unit. And then it also is often, but not always, affordable to kind of middle-income people.
While the townhomes run more than $200,000, compare that to these on the other side of the freeway where Tiger Stadium used to be. Corktown Central costing twice as much, market rate, more elegant, but of comparable size. Back in North Corktown, there's more room to grow.
We went from being a dilapidated area with all of this blight, which some we do have, to having $400,000 houses within walking distance says a lot about the area. And when you have a non-for-profit like Oakland Housing saying not only are we going to build affordable housing, but we're going to present it to the neighbors in the neighborhood to have first crack at that housing, that's very exciting to me.
Oakland Housing has a long history. Founded by James Cousins some 80 years ago, the Ford Motor magnate, mayor, U.S. senator, and philanthropist wanted more home ownership for middle-income wage earners. His vision continues.
Our goal and our mission is to help those who are on the cusp of putting it all together to give a leg up and to allow them to move into an opportunity neighborhood, one which is safe, one which is close to amenities, and to be able to then finance that person.
Jerry Esters grew up in this neighborhood and owns rental properties here. He looks forward to seeing some new neighbors.
They're not being priced out, so I think that's just monumental as far as, you know, being able to not displace anybody, and you don't just have to be rich to live near downtown.
The last 10 years, the Great Recession wiped out a huge amount of that capital and that wealth and that home ownership. So to help rebuild that middle income, that working family home ownership in Detroit, I think will help stabilize the city, help stabilize the tax base, but also just help stabilize families.
As industry boomed, Detroit's housing went single family. It served the working class well, but everything was so spread out.
Detroit has been traditionally a really low density city. We think about density a lot because it matters a ton in how the neighborhood feels and how it operates and how the city operates.
Lowe notes most every major city, including Los Angeles, has more density than Detroit. And that matters. City services, mass transit costs less as density rises.
One of the great things about this missing middle housing is that it helps creep our density back up a little bit.
In a sea of single-family housing stock, much gone to seed and too costly to rehab, now there's a need for denser, more affordable new construction. And that's where nonprofits like Oakland Housing step in.
So the market really can't do it, not because it doesn't want to, but because it costs so much to build right now. It is difficult to build a new home that a middle-income family can afford. It often costs more to build it than they can afford to buy it for.
So far, 6 of the units have been sold, with construction expected to be complete in a few months.
Considering that we have little density and that we're 7 minutes from downtown, it's very impressive that Oakland Housing is shooting for middle-income families. It creates generational wealth, and I'm hoping that families are here to stay.
The city does well when it attracts all different kinds of people. If you only have rich people, it's not great for the city. If you only have poor people, it's not great for the city. So if you want a really diverse city in all kinds of ways, you need people at every income level.